If Canada heads back to the polls this fall, would Canada even learn its lesson and vote any different? Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. This is where we debrief and discuss pop culture and politics from an independent perspective. And if that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this with your friends because it's hard to get my name out in Commie Canada. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to say World Series. Okay, that's why I got this Dina from Drew Carey eyeshadow on. Okay, very 90s. But speaking of the 90s, the last time the World Series, Blue Jays were in the World Series was 92 and 93, my husband and I's birthday. So that's another reason you guys should be following me. I am apparently good luck. But anyways, I'm just wondering, PierrePoilievre, do you know something we don't? PierrePoilievre put a couple of videos out this weekend that kind of looked like, I don't know, campaign videos. Let's take a quick look. I can't obviously look at the whole thing because of copyright, but
Coffee maker. So you'll make a leave them? Make it nice and clean.
Yeah, make it nice and clean.
Let's get it all out of here. Pure one. Yeah. Coming right out.
Just a little trick.
Look at that.
guys, how did they convince Canadians that this adopted man from Alberta who loves freedom and has served the Canadian public his entire adult life be labeled as the Trump? I just need to know, okay? Because here's the thing. I know you guys saw my video on Friday about Doug Ford. Doug Ford reminds me of Donald Trump. And I honestly think that Doug Ford could win the election if he ever ran because of his Donald Trump-esque, and people don't even really realize it, you know what I mean? I'm going to go off script for a minute. I'm going to talk whatever I want to say, you know, no matter who it burns in the process, okay? But that's the thing, that the media has so much sway in this country that after 10 years of literally watching our country be flushed down the toilet, Canadians voted back in the Liberals. Does that make any sense to anybody? Okay, it doesn't make any sense to me because I heard there was like 100-something thousand votes not counted in the last election, which, how does that even happen? And what do we need to do to secure the integrity of our elections besides all of us who care very deeply about these things volunteer and work for Elections Canada? I think that's the only way we're going to be able to make sure that this stuff stays secure, is having our eyes and ears in these places, making sure that everything is going according to plan and that every single vote is being counted, okay? And I don't know how much those votes would have made a difference. Honestly, I have no idea because I am convinced that the majority of the public is believing all of the, publicly funded media that is being pushed. Okay, it's just honestly so sick and twisted that these people put out that, like, they literally mandate people learning that they have white privilege and that white supremacy exists, not realizing that they are unironically pushing those things forward as you teach them to little kids, okay? But it's so unironic to me that the left doesn't realize that they are for the colonizers. After sitting there and listening to all of the lectures that they hear when they're in their DEI training, I have no idea how they turn around and act like if they don't work for any social program or if they cheer on the media, that they don't self-reflect and say, hey, could this still be happening? I think that the DEI does a very good job at focusing on what happened in the past and blaming us for it so that they could almost justify what's happening right now and why for some reason now their oppressors are the good guys and they could do no wrong. Okay, because that's what they think. Clearly after this weekend, with however many people were kind of cheering on Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry, and how much they tried to pin this on PierrePoilievre, that for some reason Justin Trudeau shouldn't be held accountable for the things that he has done with our money, with breaking bodily autonomy, all of these different things, okay? And who's going to be held accountable for the Emergencies Act not being lawful to pull on people and freezing bank accounts? Just wondering, you know what I mean? And speaking of the rhetoric and control that the left wants to have, at least the Liberal Party in Canada, there was a big win with natural health products. Now, the government has been trying to actively take down these companies, especially even companies in my own region, where not companies, small businesses who literally have studied and have PhDs and they're nursing and all of these different things, but instead of working with Western medicine, they work with plant medicine, okay? The government has been trying to shut these people down, and we had some sort of win. Now, I didn't have time to watch the video today because my kids are home, like I said, but I'm going to talk to you guys about that tomorrow. However, when I look at it in the big picture of things, you can't make it up that the left is advocating for more Western medicine and taking away people's right to practice plant medicine. And for some reason, it is now a conservative talking point to allow Canadians to have the freedom to practice plant medicine. You can't make it up. The same people who call us colonizers and all of these different things work for these same systems that are in place today, ripping us off, screwing us over, literally allowing us to go hungry, okay? Driving jobs out of Canada, not even allowing us to be able to get the other, horribly paying jobs, but at least they're a job. We don't even have access to those anymore. So we've had half of a year, basically, I think, since MarkCarney's been in. No deal's been made, no, good trade talks for Canada, nothing that's going to replace our partner that we make 60% of our trades with, okay? In fact, MarkCarney said that we could judge him by how much groceries cost at the grocery store, and they're way more expensive than they were even in January, okay? Not only that, I seen this weekend or last week a testimony from the Liberals saying that they haven't even talked to the Chinese counterparts about the canola tariffs. What are you guys doing? Genuinely, what are you doing? I don't know how much business from Canada can leave Canada before Canada ceases to exist. I have no idea what dream Candyland amusement park, theme park ride that the left lives on, but we need money and we need businesses investing in Canada to be able to thrive as a country. I do not know, once again, how the left thinks that we could be the only place that doesn't tap into their natural resources and either not have our land be seized, quite literally. That is, if you have so much resources and you're not using them, I'm pretty sure that's how things get started. Okay, I don't know exactly, okay? But there's no way that countries aren't sitting there looking at our land with literal money signs like Mr. Krabs, okay? The world also doesn't work like that, lefties, okay? You can't just continuously take from other countries. If you want to continuously bring people over here and sustain a population of any kind, really, you have to have some sort of energy source. You have to, and if you're not going to have an energy source, you have to be able to figure out how to pay for whatever energy you're importing. I have no idea what level of ignorance that the left lives in. Actually, I do, because I was ignorant and on the left, okay? And they just don't think about how even their food gets to them. They don't even think about sometimes how their clothing gets to them unless they're told to on social media because it's bad for the environment. They don't think about things unless the media tells them to think about things like that. Okay, they get told by the media what to think and then they just think it. Okay, that is what happens with the left in Canada because the left in Canada has a chokehold on the media. It's just how it is. And the more I do this chart, the more I've watched an ideology completely take over a country and allow its citizens to be in poverty to save the planet. That's essentially what the left's plan is, to make sure that we don't do anything at all because everything costs too much money, okay? And the whole point of this is to starve everything out so that nobody wants to be here. I have no idea. Like I've said, my favorite conspiracy theory is that Alberta is actually the land of the Bible, okay? And it's like a holy land, and that's why the elites don't want to touch it. I have absolutely no idea why we have demonized pipelines, why bringing gas over here, gas and oil over here on ships and ruining the ocean is better than having a pipeline that goes coast to coast that gives cheaper energy and clean energy to Canadians. And so I want to ask you guys, what do you think this all is? Because I was watching Elevate this weekend and they mentioned some of the theories that people had. And even in my own comments, people had decent theories that Doug was playing bad cop so Carney could play good cop. I have no idea what's going on. And then the premiers started banding together. Please stop screwing up our entire trade talks, okay? Normally, honestly, because people are like, I can't believe people are mad at Doug Ford. It's annoying because Doug Ford endorsed MarkCarney and isn't letting MarkCarney do this trade deal. Or it's even more annoying that he's not calling out MarkCarney for not getting a trade deal. You know, he's supposed to be a conservative, okay? Anyways. And when you're dealing with Donald Trump, I think you need to be walking on tiptoes. This isn't just a normal president, okay? He's Donald Trump. Learn to let MarkCarney deal with it or endorse someone else in the next election, Doug. Okay, thank you. And actually, how about you don't spend 75 million of our tax dollars to run some stupid ad in America which unironically putting money into the American market, by the way, to ruin all trade talks with America. Okay, anyways, so tell me what you guys think. Also, here's the thing. Justin Trudeau, in my opinion, allegedly, this is my conspiracy theory, that Justin Trudeau only agreed to step down as prime minister because they promised him Katy Perry. Boom! They said, okay, tell me what you guys got for me. Sat down in their little, gameplay puzzle room, Hunger Games-esque. This is all conspiracy, by the way. But in my opinion, I think it could be a possibility because what are you doing? What? And people are like, I can't believe people are so mad. He literally ruined our country, broke ethics, okay, broke our human rights by freezing bank accounts and beating the crap out of protesters for protesting their bodily autonomy, okay, and just gets to go on and date Katy Perry. First of all, Katy Perry, I'm reminding everybody, is a flop. She's in her flop era, these two, okay? That's why when you see in headlines or you go on X and you see like normal people talking about this who don't talk about politics, they're like, wow, they're both in their L era. That means losing era. And that is why I believe that this is a PR relationship, okay? I don't think this is real. They honestly look way too much like brother and sister for me to take this seriously. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a real couple? I certainly do not. And I would love to know your opinions. I would also love to know, do you guys think we're going to an election? No one is dying in my home. That's my children running around. Okay, sorry about that. But do you guys think we're going to an election? What do you guys think about Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry? Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Wait, no. We're going to take a deep breath. Ready? And I want to remind you guys, especially those Canadians out there, you are important and you are here for a reason and you matter. Okay? We have lost, and I know that you guys and I have lost so many people in our lives, and I promise you that you are exactly where you need to be. And no matter how hard life is, just remember that you matter, especially to God. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.